the SM Media Podcast Network.
Hi folks, and welcome to the latest episode of the SM Media Scottish Women's Football Show. I'm Scott McPike. It's always a delight to be your host, and we are nearly at the end of the season, but it's far from over, as we will get into over the course of the next kind of half an hour. There's a lot to get into. It is always a delight to be joined by Lauren McCulloch.
It's good to be back.
There's a lot happening. It's pretty constant, isn't it? It's not like a lot of the other leagues in Scottish football and all over the world where everything's kind of decided. Nothing really is here.
Yeah, everything's kind of swinging and roundabouts. One week you think it's done, and then the next people are pulling it back. And yeah, I mean, as you said, I don't think anything's set in stone apart from East Fife, winning the championship. That's kind of it.
Yeah. Looking at the top of the table in SWPL is still can go either way. Bottom, obviously, we're going. I think Spartans and Montrose are going for that kind of last spot. Hamilton look pretty good in SWPL too, but we've seen with that league anything can happen, and it's pretty kind of busy from there on out. Like, we'll get into the Championship and League One as well. There's no games there at the weekend, but there was a lot happening before that. We'll start with the Scottish Cup.
Yeah.
City and Rangers in the Scottish Cup final. You could have a situation where both of them are kind of going for silverware after maybe Hibs had pipped them to the league. They were both pretty good in the semi-finals, weren't they?
Yeah, no, they were. I think the quality kind of shone through. I don't think they ever really looked under much of a threat from who they were playing. But the quality Rangers and City have got, like, you need to catch them on an off day to get anything.
I think as well with this kind of season, the way it's kind of worked out, like a lot of the good set, they're capable of giving teams some really tough days. But you also look at it and think like it can go either way. Like, all teams need sometimes an early goal, but Rangers, I think, are a pretty weird team to assess this season because they're capable of battering teams, and then the next week they don't know like what's going on. Like, they're just
Yeah,
a really weird team this year.
Yeah, I think it depends a lot on, the team they're playing. Like, I
Mm.
feel like if a team comes out the traps quite quickly, presses them fully, it's a bit like in the same in the men's game. You see if the big teams get pressed, they kind of don't know what to do, 'cause they don't really expect it. But I think if either of the big three, especially Rangers, if they get an early goal, you know that the team they're playing are in for a tough day. But the longer the game kind of goes on, you can see them getting a bit jittery, which hasn't been really the case the last couple of seasons. So yeah, it has been an interesting season for them. And again, they've kind of been up and down. They've been first, second, third, kind of on a bit of a roller coaster the whole season.
And Jane Ross with a hat trick as well. The form, like, as well. She's been obviously a kind of difficult season. She's had a difficult couple of years, but nice to see her just doing what she does because there's nobody better when she's on her day.
Oh, definitely. I think she's one of, if not the best player in the league when she gets going. She's just been really, really unlucky with injuries and stuff. Everybody knows what Jane Ross brings. I mean, her career speaks for itself. So yeah, it was good to see her back to her best.
And we'll go obviously away from Scotland for a while. The Women's Champions League final has been decided. Arsenal versus Barcelona.
Yeah, Arsenal did extremely well. Really, really well. I think we'd obviously said that we think Barca are the favourites. I think that's still the case, but you know what? You don't know what could happen.
They pretty much, like, Barcelona were pretty much kind of home and dry after the first leg, weren't they? It was kind of a case of who's you fancied Leon in the driving seat, but Arsenal coming from really well. Like, I think it's an unbelievable performance because I couldn't see past Leon after the first leg.
Yeah, no, me neither. It was a real shock. I think I never managed to watch the game, so but when I kind of got in the house and seen that Arsenal had won, I was a bit shocked. I think now their full focus is kind of turned to the Champions League. I think if you look at their form in the WSL as of late, it's not been great.
No.
But you know that kind of happens. You're gearing towards this massive game, the biggest game they've had in a long time. So yeah, it's good to see them back to where they want to be. Because obviously they were a driving force in women's football, in the probably less than 10 years ago. So yeah, it's good to see them back, but but Barcelona will provide a completely different test for them.
Yeah, it's obviously going to be interesting with that finals weekend because the Scottish Cup final was on at like 2 o'clock, and I think the Women's Champions League's on at 6 o'clock. So we'll cover that in our season review at the end of May, which we'll look back on. Let's go to SWPL because Hibs are going again. Like just looking at the kind of last 2 weeks, beat 2-0, beat Rangers 2-0 at home, then beat Motherwell 2-0 at home in the Wednesday night. Edinburgh Derby, massive test for them, and Kathleen McGovern comes up with a double. They won 3-1, laid down a marker that afternoon with Rangers and City both winning, but Hibs are in front and they have their own destiny in their hands because the final 2 games are home to City, home to Celtic. No, 3 games: home to City, home to Celtic, and then away to Rangers. Like you can't ask for 3 tougher games, but it's in their hands.
Yeah, and you know what? They've done extremely well to kind of put it back in their hands because it looked like they kind of maybe lost a wee grip on it for a week or so, but they've done extremely well to pull it back and capitalise on City Rangers dropping points elsewhere. So yeah, but as you said, it's a really tough run in they've got. But they've proven before that they can beat City, they can beat Rangers, and they can beat Celtic. So it will be interesting, but. I do hope it goes to the final day. I kind of want to see a wee helicopter Sunday, but yeah, it's in their hands, and that's all we could ask for at this stage of the season.
And Grant Scott obviously won the manager of the year as well. Like you cannot deny the unbelievable job he's done just to have them contending because the start of the season we're seeing big three, it's nobody can split them. And then you look at Hibs just where they've come from. And one thing you will say about them over the season is it's a really well kind of campaign squad who have been put together really well coached. But they're incredible ability off the bench as well, something that's probably been overlooked this season.
Yeah, I think Grant Scott's managed his squad extremely well. I think if you look kind of week on week, there's a lot of squad rotation that goes on there, but it just shows the strength and depth that he's got. That he's got just as strong players on the bench is what he does starting, and that I think has been their kind of downfall the last couple of seasons, where they've probably had a really strong starting 11, but kind of off the bench you're looking they're maybe not as great. But that's all credit to him and his recruitment as well. But I think when you looked at the start of the season, it was all City, Rangers, Celtic, as you said. But even Hearts at the start of the season, they had a good crack at it. They started off really well. They've kind of fell away now, but it's good to see more teams competing.
And City obviously are the closest challengers. That game at the end of April, obviously last week, where City won 1-0 against Rangers. It was a weird game because I watched it and I just thought this Rangers just aren't at the races here. This was kind of one of those games where they were excellent against Aberdeen and then they were excellent obviously Sunday against Motherwell, but they were just flat against City. And it's weird because it was at Ibrox, it was a good crowd. It just didn't look like a Rangers team that we've seen this season.
Yeah, no, definitely not. I don't know if it's a case of maybe they've taken their foot off the gas a little bit, like no disrespect to Aberdeen and Motherwell, but they're obviously not the same kind of quality
Mm-hmm.
side that Glasgow City are. So, having two kind of easier games as such, they're not easy games by any stretch, but um just even that mentality is slightly different because you know you're going to dominate the ball, you know you're going to have more of the chances. You're probably not going to be put under as much pressure to then go into a game of that magnitude against Glasgow City. They probably just in their heads weren't ready for it in terms of the speed that Glasgow City were going to play at, and that obviously hindered them a lot.
And looking at Sunday, Hibs play City. I'm not going to say title decider, but Rangers Celtic obviously is massive. Rangers absolutely need to win. For Rangers? Obviously, looking at it from a Rangers perspective at the moment, are Rangers hoping for a draw in that game?
I
Like
think they'd be looking if Rangers win. I think they'd be looking for a draw or even a City win.
that's what I thought as
Just
well.
just to not put Hibs even further ahead. Because if Rangers win, they're on 68 points. If Hibs win, they're on 73, so it's still a 5 point gap.
And you don't
So
want to have Rangers playing Hibs in the final day, like with that. Like obviously, that gap could be massive in that at that point, but it's 5 points just now. I mean, it goes three, and then you play them in the final day at home. Like, I think a draw is probably ideal for Rangers.
I think so, but I don't think they'll be looking at that. I think they'll just be focusing more so on beating Celtic. Because if they don't beat Celtic, then I don't think it really matters what the
Nah,
result is in the other game. They
and
need to take care of
you
their
know
business
Celtic will be looking to spoil that party as they have to do.
100%.
What do you think of Emma Lawton getting Player of the Year?
I think it's a fantastic achievement. I think she's had a brilliant year. I think she's had a superb year, transitioning from part-time to full-time football, to getting international recognition, playing Champions League. Like, it's been a whirlwind year for her. I think she's had an outstanding season for Celtic. I think, to be fair, any of the players that were nominated,
Hmm.
I think should have won it at the end of the day. But to be voted by players that you've played against, I think that award's merited.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think she's been an absolute shining light for Celtic this year. And obviously, as you said, coming from part time to full time and getting that international recognition. City, like again, like they don't have maybe the kind of what they were previously, where you're expecting City to win. But if they do win it, it's another unbelievable achievement. Fully, if she does it.
Yeah, I think so. I think if you just look at the resources at the disposal of the Glasgow teams, and even now the Edinburgh teams to an extent, for them to kind of be all self-funded, through their academy and stuff is incredible. Obviously, they have been the kind of driving force of Scottish women's football, for since it probably began, to be honest. It would be a remarkable achievement, but personally, I think I'd still really like to see Hibs win it. Just someone a bit different.
So you go with Hibs. Final, like this is a final chance. You're not going to let you change your mind between now.
Oh, it's a head and heart. It is a head and heart. No, I'm going to stick with Hibs. I'm going to stick with him.
The beautiful thing about this is as well though that they're all playing each other. I mean, we've seen title races where, like, I mean, for example, like you're not going to see the split the way it kind of works this season is. You're not going to see it in most leagues where the kind of top three are going to play each other between now and the end of the season with 3 games left. So there's going to be so many twists and turns.
Yeah, it's not been predictable all season,
No,
so I don't know why it would slow down now. But yeah, definitely now with 3 games to go, it's really ramping up. And as you said, I think one wee slip up could be costly for any team.
and like I'm not giving a go at the SWPL here, but why in this scenario where you've got such a tight race with so many good teams, you're then going to abandon that next season to go to a 10 team league? I
I
don't
know
get it.
it's tricky.
I
It is
don't.
tricky. I know. I think you see it now though. Like even you've even got a race for sixth place in a
Yes.
sense. Like, and looking at Aberdeen, the investment they're putting in, I think they'll be really strong next season. So I think to kind of reduce that league, just to let the bigger teams play against each other more, I don't think that's fair on the rest of the league, especially when you're wanting to make it more competitive. And I think if I read rightly, it was going to be like a top six and bottom four split somewhere as well. So it's like I don't know. It doesn't make sense
Doesn't
in
make
my
sense
head,
to me.
especially with the way this season's went. And I know this was decided long ago, but yeah, it just seems off the back of a really successful season for the SWPL, it seems like a wee bit of a backward step.
Yeah, I think the way this split has been done, I think is far better than what you see in the men's league, where
Yeah, no, I agree.
you do it halfway and then you've got the top six playing each other twice. I like that idea. I don't get it, to be honest. But again, there's better people than me that can make that decision. Other end of the table, Queens Park and Dundee United obviously have been relegated, but that battle to stay in the league is becoming very interesting because Montrose are producing a real fight back here. They looked gone, and then they've just managed to really rally, and now like it's hard to see past them. They beat Spartans at the weekend, but they won the last three before that. I think it's been an
Yeah, they've
unbelievable run.
done they've done exceptionally well. I think on our last show, I think we said that Luke kind of confirmed that they would go down, but they've brought it back to level points as much as Spartans have got a far superior goal difference. You look at the kind of last three fixtures. Montrose have got Aberdeen, Partick, and then Dundee United. So that's you've got Aberdeen and Partick there. That's quite tricky. Spartans, you've got Dundee United, Queens Park, and then Partick on the last day. So
Hmm.
it'll be interesting. I think Spartans will be feeling it after that result against Montrose. And Montrose have the momentum, so I wouldn't be shocked to see them, save themselves. And what a remarkable achievement it would be. Montrose have been a team that I don't think anybody expected to do so well.
Yeah.
After their back-to-back promotions, Championship and then SWPL 2, to then survive in SWPL 1 for another season is just incredible.
And they've been such, obviously, as well, Craig Farrell's obviously, who's leaving at the end of the season. He's done a remarkable job and deserves a load of credit for what he's done. But again, you're kind of at the stage, though, with these two teams, is you don't want either to go down, because Spartans have been very good for the game and Montrose have obviously been, their fight back this season has been tremendous. It's one of those where you'll be disappointed whoever goes down.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know what's going to happen though, with Queen's Park potentially folding
Yeah.
and not being in. So I don't know if that will require the SWPL to have a wee look and a wee reshuffle and maybe not go to the 10-team league. So I mean, one of them might be saved. I think 3 teams going down and 1 team coming up is a bit.
Yeah, it's another.
I think that's a bit difficult. And Spartans and Montrose, whatever one does go down, I think they'll be strong favourites to just bounce straight back up.
Yeah, absolutely. One team who looked pretty good to be coming up from SWPL to are Hamilton. It looked pretty shaky for a while because they
Yeah,
lost to Kilmarnock, but they managed to resolve it at the weekend because Boroughmuir playing Kilmarnock drew on 2 each, and then Hamilton just went out and thumped St Johnson.
yeah, it was just like, all right, okay, you've dropped points, right? We're going to just take it up a notch now. But no, I think if Kelly won that game, I think they were quite unlucky by all accounts.
Yeah,
If they'd have won that game, it would have made for a really interesting end to the season, which would have been fully merited on Kilmarnock's part. I think they've been hot on Aki's heels for the majority of the season. It looks like they've probably just missed out just based on the gap with 2 games to go and the fixtures that are left. Aki's obviously put 6 past St Johnstone. They'll be looking to kind of end the season strongly as well. So yeah, Kelly put up a good fight. They'll probably be hoping that there was a playoff place this year like there was last year. But yeah, Aki's, I think, over the course of the season, they're well-deserved winners if they do go on and win the league. So I don't think anybody can have any complaints.
and they're obviously the bottom as well. AR, big result for them at the weekend as well. They beat Gatkiel 4-3. They've still got a glimmer of a chance of obviously not going down automatically, but away to home to Boroughmuir and then away to Kilmarnock. Again, the way it's kind of working, Ayr will probably need to win both. Very, very tough games. Rossvale, it's set. Obviously, they're going to be in the bottom 2, but it's just a case of they're trying just to avoid being automatically down and give themselves another kind of push to stay in.
Yeah, I think it was really important for Rossvale to get something at the weekend there against Livy, especially with obviously United winning. That's a huge result for them. I think the final 2 games, you're looking at there's a 3-point gap. Rossvale have got St Johnstone and Accies. As you said, they've got Boroughmuir and Kelly. So
Yeah.
I think I would probably back Rossvale more to get something from maybe the St Johnstone game. And then that would kind of put the last week to kind of put as a dead rubber as such, just because it would then be confirmed that they would be in the playoff and they would go down if they didn't get anything from Boroughmuir. So yeah, I mean it is tight. It's been tight for a wee while, but I think Rossvale have probably just done enough over the course of the season to grab the playoff place.
And we're still undecided, obviously, who they're going to play in the playoff. Whoever finishes 7th is going to play in the playoff, because with 2 games left in the Championship, East Fife are up. You've got Stirling Uni on 49 points in second. Falkirk, Glasgow Girls and Renfrew obviously hot in their heels, but Stirling obviously have that 4-point cushion. They play Renfrew on Sunday. Like, if Stirling Uni were to go into that playoff, would you give them a shot?
Um, I, I think so. I think based on what I've seen of them this season, they're really quick going forward on the counter attack. They're obviously they're a really fit side. Um, yeah, I wouldn't say that Rossvale would roll them over in a sense. I think it would be a really good game. I think it'd be a really tight game. I think in terms of quality in the squad, I think Rossvale would probably just pick them there if they go into it with a fully fit squad. But Stirling Uni would know, like, I think they would put up a fight and they are fit. So I think that's one thing to say as well.
What do you think? Obviously, like Stirling Uni are 4 points clear. Renfrew, you'll be hoping that. I mean, it's a big game for Renfrew as well. Obviously Renfrew would need to win. If they do win, though, like you're looking at Glasgow Girls playing Inverness and Falkirk play East Fife. Like, it's certain, if Renfrew were to beat Stirling Uni, it certainly opens it up.
Yeah, I think the way the results could go at the weekend could really turn the tide a little bit. I think if you look at then the last game, Stirling Uni are playing East Fife.
Yeah.
We've obviously got Inverness, Falkirk have got Glasgow, Glasgow play Falkirk. So it's it's a really tight. It's been tight all season. I think if we beat Stirling, it opens it up. I'd expect Glasgow to beat Inverness as well. So they would obviously then go to 48 points. So yeah, it would tighten it up going into the last game. So that would make it really interesting.
And into League One, Bonnyrigg obviously won at the last weekend, beating St Mirren. Armadale were held to a 1-1 draw against Inverurie. The way it's kind of working is Bonnyrigg obviously but actually Armadale have a superior goal difference, so it's probably going to go to the last game of the season. But like, if both teams win this weekend, they're going to play each other, and Bonnyrigg are going to have that 3-point cushion. So Armadale would need to win and hope that. Well, it's kind of the way it's working is that if they match each other's results, then it's still open going into the last day.
Yeah, definitely. I think right now Armadale are kind of one goal better off. So they'll probably be looking to really put a few goals past who they're playing at the weekend. I think them dropping points, last week, I think probably hindered them a little bit. I think they would have wanted to kind of match the result till the end of the season to really take it to the last game. But if it's a 3-point gap and the goal difference is as tight as it is going into the last game, that's a really interesting one at Porton Hall in the last week.
Who do you think wins that?
I think Bonnyrigg. I think just there at home, they'll have the home advantage. I'd imagine there'll be a big crowd down there. They're very good on social media, advertising and their games and things. So I think they would have a big crowd down. I'm sure the men's side would do their bit to promote the game as well. So it will be interesting. It's a kind of derby as well. They're kind of both from the east. So yeah, both sides really do deserve to go up. I think they've stormed League One. They've obviously knocked Championship teams out the cup as well. So yeah, there'll be two good additions if they both do end up going up to the Championship next season. But I do think Bonnyrigg will just tip them to the league.
So obviously Hutchie Vale, I think, are down in the Championship. West Dyke will be in the playoff. I would imagine whoever finishes second, no disrespect, would fancy themselves against West Dyke at the moment.
Yeah, I would say so. I think having kind of seen West Dyke played against Armadale and seen Bonnyrigg play, I think the, the League One sides are stronger. I would just say, yeah, they play better football. They just seem more experienced. I think that's the main thing. They've got a lot of experience in their side, whereas West Dyke are a really young squad. So yeah, I think they would do enough to put West Dyke down and get into the Championship.
You won the last predictor, so this is my final chance to win this one. We've got 8 games we're going to do because we're going to do the 2 Wednesday games as well. I'm going to ask you a wee bonus round if it goes to a tie break. Okay.
Right, okay.
We'll go first of all Wednesday night, Aberdeen versus Montrose.
I think it'll be a draw.
Okay.
I think it'll be a draw.
I think I'm going to go for Montrose here. I think Montrose win, but I also think Spartans will win against Dundee United.
Yeah, I think Spartans will beat Dundee United.
So that it could still all be very much on. We'll go on to Saturday. Let's start the 10 past 12 game. Hibs Glasgow City.
I think Hibs are going to do it. I think Hibs will win.
Okay. So Hibs for you. I think I'm going to go for a draw. Just to keep it interesting. Because I think if Hibs win, I think it could be done. But then my next prediction. Partick Thistle Montrose.
I think Montrose will take that one.
Okay.
Just for the players that, Thistle have now got out injured. I think
Yeah, I know. I think I'm going to go Montrose as well. And I'm also going to go Spartans to win that game. I mean, it's all going into the final day, a decider. You the same?
Yeah, I'm the same.
We've then got Motherwell versus Hearts.
I think Hearts will take that one.
I think I'll go for Hearts as well. Dundee United versus Aberdeen.
Going to go with Aberdeen.
Yeah, I think I'll go Aberdeen as well. And finally, 10 past 4 could be one of the crucial games of the season. The final game between Celtic and Rangers at New Douglas Park. Who wins that?
I think it'll be a draw.
A draw. I think I'll go for Rangers. But I can see a scenario where Celtic win. Who wins the league in the tiebreaker? Who wins the league and how many points do they win it by?
Oh,
That's a tough one, isn't it?
that is a question. Wow. I'm gonna say
I've got
Hibs will win it.
the beauty of the computer, so I can actually tally it up. You don't.
Off just pure brain power. I'll say Hibs will win it by 2 points if that's mathematically possible.
Okay. I think Rangers win it by 1 point.
Wow.
I think Rangers win it by 1 point.
Just make a late charge.
I might be wrong, but we'll see what happens. Lauren, we will have one more show at the end of the season. We'll do a season review because we're both going on holiday.
Yes.
And I cannot wait to go away for a week. And obviously, I imagine you'll the same in your vacation as well. Enjoy yours when it comes.
Yeah, you too.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. We will see you all soon for the next episode of the Scottish Women's Football Show. Hopefully, by an end of the season review, we'll hear from a couple of players and managers over the course of the season. We'll see you all soon. Thank you very much.